Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. I want to start off the video by saying congratulations to my local high school team here where I went to high school at. They won last night by the score of 36-32 to improve to 3-1 on the season. 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, a dollar. All for the Lions. Stand up and holler. Now on to today's video. In case you missed the 2 college games last night, both games were very exciting. Both games were very competitive. Louisville beat Central Florida by the score of 42-35, and Maryland improved to 3-0 on the season by defeating Illinois by the score of 20-17. And I really hate that for Illinois' quarterback because his name is Brandon, and I've always heard that when your name is Brandon, that means your mama really loves you. But ever since Illinois beat Nebraska back in week 0, they have not won a game since then, so they're now 1-3 on the season. But there is some very exciting games coming up today, starting at 12 o'clock noon. We'll just talk about some of the games that I feel like are either going to be competitive or have some kind of interest in them. 12 o'clock noon is Michigan State and Miami, and I know I mentioned this a few days ago, but I'll mention it again. I think Mel Tucker has Michigan State going in the right direction, and of course Miami has D'Eriq King, but outside of D'Eriq King, they really haven't done a whole lot this year offensively, except for depend on D'Eriq King. So that should be a very good game. Also at 12 o'clock noon is Nebraska and Oklahoma. Now you look at it on the surface, you think Oklahoma is going to blow them out, and they might. But if you think about it, Tulane scored 35 against Oklahoma, which leads you to believe that Nebraska should be able to score a little bit. But the question is going to be, can they stop Oklahoma? And I don't know if they can. So that game might be a blowout, but it may also be a shootout. And then at 3:30, we've got Clemson and Georgia Tech. That is the conference opener for both teams. Of course, we know Clemson's offense so far this season it's missing something. I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll finally get it going. They should win the game, but I just want to see if their offense can show some kind of improvement. Of course, they don't have a center, and you wouldn't think that makes that much of a difference, but it's very important to have a center, and they're going to struggle to find somebody to snap the ball consistently all year long. Also at 3:30 is Alabama and Florida. This is supposed to be a good game. I think Alabama is going to blow them out of the water. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's close, but I'm just not sold on Florida yet, so I think Bama's going to blow them out. But it is the SEC game of the week at 3:30, so hopefully it'll be a close game. Another game that I think is going to be a sneaky good game is at 4 o'clock, and that's Mississippi State and Memphis. And the reason why I say sneaky good game is because, Memphis, of course, they're a group of 5 team, and Mississippi State is a middle-of-the-road SEC team, but Memphis can score. So they should be able to score on Mississippi State. So that should be a very good game. And then, of course, at 7 o'clock, we've got South Carolina and Georgia. We've got to wait and see who starts at quarterback for Georgia. We know last week Stetson Bennett got the start, but supposedly he's hurt, and JT Daniels is also hurt, so we'll have to wait and see if either one of those two play, and if so, how much. But I think they'll win in convincing fashion either way, because I think South Carolina is just terrible. And then tomorrow night, 2 big games. One is the whiteout game. It's the ABC National Game of the Week, 7:30, Auburn and Penn State. Of course, I've never been a big fan of Bo Nix, but I also don't think Penn State's offense is that good. So it should be a good game, but it should be a low-scoring game. So if you like low-scoring defensive games, that should be a pretty good game to watch. Another good game tomorrow night. Key game for North Carolina, and that's also at 7:30, and that's Virginia and North Carolina. If you remember, North Carolina came out this year ranked in the top 10. Of course, they lost opening weekend to Virginia Tech. And according to Tom Luginbill, Virginia's quarterback, Brennan Armstrong, is the number one quarterback in the ACC right now. They come in here undefeated, and since North Carolina already has the loss to Virginia Tech, if Virginia pulls this game out, then North Carolina is already going to have 2 conference losses. So unless something drastic happens, if the Tar Heels lose this game, they can already forget about winning the ACC Coastal. And, of course, that'll definitely give Virginia the leg up, because I think the 2 best teams in the Coastal are Virginia and North Carolina. Miami still has a chance to be competitive, but so far they're just depending way too much on D'Eriq King. He is good, but he can't do it all by himself. They've got to find something to do on offense besides depend on D'Eriq King to do something every single play. Those are just a few of the good games I think we can expect coming up later on today. Don't forget, all the action kicks off at noon. I'll probably be watching Michigan State and Miami coming up at noon. And if anybody has any thoughts on what you think about the new streaming thing, please feel free to let me know, because I have a feeling personally that this is the direction that we're heading down. Of course, today the game that's streaming is Tennessee and Tennessee Tech, and I can see why, because Tennessee Tech is a pathetic FCS team. They're not even a good FCS team. So Tennessee, even though they're just average at best, should beat them by as many points as they want to beat them by. But there's now a deal in place that every single SEC team plays one non-conference game that's only available through streaming services. And of course, if you follow along with all the streaming stuff, you know Notre Dame's game last week against Toledo was only available through a streaming service. And I have a feeling that is the direction that we are heading with all these streaming companies out now. I have a feeling that within 5 years, there ain't going to be any more games on national TV except for maybe the ACC Game of the Week, the SEC Game of the Week, and things like that. But I think outside of that, it's going to be just like it was back in the old days when you had one game on TV and then everything else you had to listen to on the radio, with whoever your home team was. I think we're heading that direction now, except for you'll have more than one option besides the radio. You'll be able to stream the game, but I think each team is pretty much going to become like a pay-per-view team, where if you want to watch your team play, whoever your team is, you're going to have to pay a streaming service monthly to watch your team play, or you're going to have to call your local cable provider and pay just like a pay-per-view, where you'll pay either a monthly fee or you'll pay $5 every Saturday or $6 every Saturday. I believe that's the direction that we are heading, because there's just so many streaming services out there now. And the funny part is, people think they're saving money by cutting their cable or cutting their satellite and going through streaming services. But if you stop and think about it, if you've got 7 or 8 streaming services and you pay each one $8-9 a month, that's the same exact thing as paying one cable bill or one satellite bill. But since so many people now are going the direction of streaming, I feel like in 5 years, no more than 10, there will no longer be college football on TV, except for, like I said, the Game of the Week. Outside of that, you'll have to find your local cable company or your local streaming service, whichever one you want to use, and you're going to have to pay a monthly fee to watch your team play, or you're going to have to go to the game, or you're going to have to turn on the radio. That is the direction we are heading. So if anybody has any thoughts on that, please feel free to let me know. If you have any thoughts on any of the games coming up today, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I've got this terrible disease where I can't stop telling airport jokes. My doctor says it's terminal, but my airport jokes never take off. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.